back for another race here in Monaco. It's World Championship racing time, and I hope you're excited for this exciting track in general. It's very legendary in its history, and obviously well known for its incidents. I'm Ben McConnell, and joining me on the casting desk is the one and only Jamie Casting. How are you doing?
I'm not too shabby, man, are you?
I am not too shabby indeed. Here is actually probably one of my favourite tracks ever. Not necessarily for you can have on track, but only because of how it's just such a tough track, and obviously qualifying is a huge factor here. And see from the graphics, you've got really two strategies. You have one stop, you've got stops and mediums, or you have infinite amount of stops because you end up going to having a lot of wing damage. Hypers is currently leading the championship with 125 points, which is a 77-point gap between him and Anthony, which is flying fifth, ending in third, managing fourth, third, and fifth, round of six, greatest of 28. But we are already underway with the qualifying session. We've already had a retirement from Rick, and I'm not sure if you know this, but has he got a quali ban?
I'm not aware of any. There's yellow in Sector 3. I don't think we've been going long enough to actually have cars in Sector 3. So...
it's not for very long. We're in Sector 3, they weren't there for very long. I have been told that Rick does have a quali ban.
Someone has front wing damage already, though. I don't know who it is, but I've just seen a bit of wing on the pit exit. They couldn't even make it out of the pit before picking up damage. I'm just trying to see who that was. My first guess was Bird, but... no, someone definitely has front right damage. I don't know who it is. I'm trying to find out.
It's not Blue,
but it's a case of just go through them all.
It's not Return. He's also fine. Is it Hypers? It's not Hypers. Lemon. But we are actually... Hypers is just starting a hot lap. Do you want to go on board with him for a hot lap?
Oh, crikey. Yes, well, it's through Santavant, turn one, straight into the action as we go up the hill through Beau Rivage, snaking up the hill. Oh, that's not a good start for Smeege. Turn 3, Massonet, he's carrying a lot of speed through there. It's worked well for him. Such grip he's got on these tyres. Through Casino, turn 4, Mind Bump on the left, or take over it. And into Mirabeau, first Mirabeau's turn 5, then into Grand Hotel Hairpin, the Hairpin, Lowe's Hairpin, call it what you want. Turn 7, Mirabeau Bass, and then Portier, turn 8. And then we go under the tunnel and through, here's turn 9, tunnel. Then into Nouvelle Chicane, 2 official corners here, even though it's sort of more than that. There's a car there on the right hand side, not sure who that is. But he avoids it. And then up towards turn 12 to back. This way we see a few front wings being nudged on that one on the right hand side. He stays well clear. Through the first 2 of the swimming pool complex, and then the second 2 nudging on the right twice there. Into Raskas, turn 17. Long right hander, and then 2 final corners to go. Anti-Nodus, and this is where the DRS is in play, and he's going to set the first time of a 1:8.781.
Yep, first lap on the board. Already a really good lap. He's already smashed my lap than I can do. And
well,
I struggle to get low 109s, and he's just immediately done a 187, so immediately good. Now, I don't know if you saw earlier, but Smeege had a 5-place grid penalty for collision with Zerd, and then he got another one for the exact same thing. So he's actually got a 10-place grid penalty for colliding with Zerd twice. So we're not sure how much of that was actually his fault, but you know, he is more wing damage there in the wall. That looked like a Ferrari. I can only imagine it was Daniel. He's currently in the pits there. Maybe not him. There's actually a lot of people in the pits, quite surprisingly. Zerd's currently finishing his hot lap right now. Wessel's out there on a hot lap as well.
Front wing damage for Beaker. He's got front right. I can only see an end plate at the first chance I saw of it. I've got a re-rubber on board at the moment. Hopefully it's going to flip onto something useful in a second. There we go.
There you go.
Yeah, it's just end plate. Wessel for wing.
And a track like this, so you can't afford to have any sort of wing damage at all. It just easily makes it so hard to go through these cars. Like this sector here alone is quite reliant on the aerodynamics. If you've got any sort of instability, you're very much going to end up in the wall again. And obviously you can see they're going into the pits, and Beaker is going to be held up by his teammate, but it is qualifying and we have tons of time left to go.
Yeah, well, we've got 30 minutes. It's going to be a long time for Return and Rick, though. They are out of the session already. Not entirely sure what's happened, but as I say, they're gone. And only 4 cars now on the track. And Smeege was getting close with Zerd. And hopefully not... Oh, Zerd's forgot to do the chicane again. I
I
don't
think
like
he's on
it.
his way back in.
Yeah, really don't like it. As you hear about me talk about this pretty much every time we commentate. I hate seeing things like that.
Oh, when they cut the corner
Yeah, and
to get them back to the thing quicker.
a driver on yesterday, Jorn, he's not part of Tier 1, I don't know if he's actually part of WCR, he was nearly faced with a complete disqualification from the race as a result of it. He managed to get it overturned, ended up with a 15-second penalty, but still, I mean, to me, a complete disqualification is almost justified, because it is cheating. If you don't have time to do your lap, you don't have time to do your lap. Deal with it.
You can't do that in school, you can't do that in work, you absolutely have to follow the rules. Oh, a big lock up there from Smeed.
Smeed,
He almost ran, Smeed. He almost hit the wall. Still going strong. He's committing, he's not backed out already, so
No,
let's stay on board with him, see how it is.
he has backed out.
He's in mode 5, which tells me he's still going.
He looks a little
looked like he was slow through the area.
Yeah, he wasn't giving it full beans between the 7 and 8. There's a Ferrari in front of him. Who's that?
Daniel.
That's got to be Daniel, yes, because the other one's in the pits. Yeah, I mean...
There is no other one.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's not on Ferrari, is he? Oh! How has he only just nudged the end plate off? Oh, and got a nudge there from Daniel.
Nice
Now he's got to get out of
there.
this. Oh.
Wow. And he's disqualified.
That was
he got disqualified
harsh.
for a collision.
That was really harsh on him. I mean, he was going to be last anyway, but this confirms that he's going to be last. But that was quite harsh. He had no control over that. If he accelerated into Daniel, then I could have seen it. But that full disqualification is harsh. I don't know the earlier incidents. I don't think they can overturn them in the space between, unless he's able to produce clear evidence that there was no issue whatsoever, and maybe it was a similar issue to that got the original penalties. But we don't know.
Yeah.
So, but it's the way it is. It's the way the cookie crumbles, isn't it? Unfortunately, it's crumbled all over Smidge's head. Oh, Hyper's bouncing off walls. He's made a mess of this for that.
He's still got his wing though, but he has backed out. So yeah, like you say, he's given up. He's not really going to have to do much more for this one, but there's still tons of time. And we know the strategy is very much allowing the softs to be there. This is a track where, weirdly enough, the softs actually don't take that much of a beating. They can handle the track quite nicely. So I fully expect Hypers to be able to run these all the way into the ground. We'll see what happens later on.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a slow track that you can't really put much through the tyres. There's a lot of lateral, but there's not a lot of accelerating and braking going through it from high speeds. There's 2 real straights, and I'd only say there's one fast corner other than tunnel, which isn't really a corner, and that's the back. That's about it. So there's not a lot of pace going through them. I mean, Blue's gone through to back at 130, so that's relatively quick. But yeah, there's not a lot going through these tyres, and it's not surprising they can one-stop softs to mediums.
So, one thing we haven't yet done is the prediction. We haven't done.
There's a reason for that. We know who's P1.
Right, but P2 and P3, I mean, Nixon's just chucked a 109.029. Yeah, he's 3 tenths off Hypers, but, 2 and 3 are still very much up for grabs.
I was looking towards a Mercedes 1-2. But I don't know now, because Lemon's just dropped down, but he is in the pits, so he hasn't put in the time. I really don't know. It's a good thing we didn't do it early and go for Smeed or Rick, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I would have gone Rick, but obviously he's got a qualifying penalty anyway, but Rick is the kind of driver who you can sort of rely to do well when it comes to hot lap pace, but obviously we know him to be the guy who bottles it quite hard when it comes to the race, but also he gets a lot of penalties to go with it, and that makes it really difficult for him to be able to hold on to a solid position. And I think that's ultimately been his big downfall. So Rick returning today on a track as well where you need to qualify high to be able to succeed here. He's going to struggle in the race.
Oh, so is Zerd. He's just clipped the inside of the Nouvelle chicane. He's on an in-lap as well, and he's managed to do that, so that's not the best from him. And fortunately, he's still got 4 wheels on that car. Well, 4 tyres. There's a few more wheels, aren't there?
Yeah. Okay,
yeah,
so let's just think about the whole end game. You know, we've got 8 minutes remaining of the session. Still,
he's almost
oh, that
forgot
was
they had to come
close.
in.
I think he was lining himself up to go again. He actually could have done, to be fair. He hasn't actually got the red fuel warning light, so you know the risk you run. Sorry, there words. Is purely that if you do too many laps on these softs, you can really run the life of the tire into the ground, and that's when you come into the actual race and you start to struggle. And ultimately, you're just going to make your whole race strategy so much harder because one single hot lap takes a hell of a lot of life out of the tires, and that just makes it, like I
Yeah,
say, you're staying on your harder compound just that extra bit longer and a lot harder.
yeah. Maybe the spin put him off, and he didn't fancy going on him again after that. And he just put a bit too much heat through and thought, actually, you know what? I've got time. Let's just bring it in and go for some laps in a minute.
Yeah.
But Lemon is about to start a flying lap. His teammate is already at the front. Lemon, last season, or last game, should we say, not last season really, he was never massive. He was never someone who impressed all the time. Coming to 2019, he's suddenly gone, I'm quick. Come at me. Yes,
Yeah.
okay, he was relatively quick in 2018, but he was just never that quick. But I think he's upped his game quite nicely, and that's the difference in this 2018 to 2019. A lot of people who were never top of the timings in 2018 have suddenly gone into 2019 and gone, look,
Yeah.
look at me, I'm here. And that's quite interesting. We saw it, the official F1, didn't we? On Wednesday, Brendan didn't really do anything spectacular. He looked down and out of the pace wise. He was qualifying like 8th, 9th, or 10th. As
Oh,
that's
hold up
Beaker
for
in
a
the
second.
wall.
Look at Beaker. He has made a big issue there. He's got entire front and right wheel is off the car. Okay, so P5 is where his teammate is at. Beaker's currently sat P8, so he's not. And there's drivers below him too, which that have yet to put a time in. Realistically, they could probably beat that. One
Oh,
on
Lemon's
nine
backed out.
is really simple to do. Yeah, Lemon's back there. But just going back to what you were saying about Lemon. Yeah, I completely agree with you. In 2018, it was actually if he did anything solid in a race, it was quite a surprise, and you would be like, "Oh wow, Lemon really showed up today." And then any other race, it would be issues, and then he'd get himself into a sort of troll mindset. And as soon as he did, he kind of just made it worse for himself, and he didn't really get the practice that he needed. He just seems to have lost a lot of, I guess you would call it, his mojo. He just didn't seem to have it for the game anymore. But like I say, come into 2019, Lemon, I've not seen too much of him, but from what I'm told and from what I have seen, he does look pretty damn quick. Still got a lot to see though.
Yeah, Daniel says that'll do. That's a retirement on track, not a crash. He's given it his best. He's very much off the pace there in 9th, and that's one thing. He's going to be at best 9th, at worst. He's going to be 9th place unless Bird puts something in, but he hasn't even come out yet. Is he even in the session?
I'm pretty sure I have seen him out on track. I just don't think he's actually done the lap. I think every time he's come out, he's come back in again. Bird is a strange one for me. I like Bird. I think he's a really good driver. His pace is very hit and miss. Apparently Bird has issues with his throttle pedal, and that's why he's currently not out on track.
Yeah, you don't want issues with throttle around here, do you? Because you
No.
you don't want to put it down a little too hard at the wrong time, otherwise you'll be out. But right, Blue's on a fly going towards the final few corners. He's down by a fair bit, so maybe he's going to go for a reinstallation or bring this one in. He's bringing this one in.
Yeah.
And
I think we're there. I think we're at that point. I think it's
nearly,
safe to say we're at that
yes. Well, you say that, but yet 3 of the 7 cars are still on track, but they're not calm at the moment.
No, and the thing to think about though is that Monaco is that kind of track where you don't really have a calm before the storm, to be honest, because you'll have the drivers that need to get out earlier to try and avoid the traffic on the grid. Obviously, we only have I say 7 drivers, 8 drivers. Bird's out that just come out of the pits as well, so he's going to be prepping for his lap. Hopefully, he's fixed his throttle issues. But yeah, you kind of want to avoid the traffic if you can. Get the track to be as clear as possible. And now it's kind of a situation that he's really capitalising on. He needs to just get a time in. So I think he's come out now to at least do 1 lap. If he's happy with it, he'll retire. If he's not happy, he's going to go for another one. And ultimately, him and Hypers are the only 2 that are really doing that. Zed is out, but he's done the lap already.
And it is an improvement, but not a big enough improvement. So, what's he thinking now? He's still not got red fuel. So, has he over-fueled it quite heavily? He's now going to do yet another lap and go from there. I mean, is this pointing towards the fact that there's going to be a wet race? Have we been told?
I haven't been told, no.
No. I mean, that's what it could be pointing towards, couldn't it?
Potentially.
The fact that people are doing more than one lap on their softs, like Zerd's not a person that would destroy his tyres simply to get a better starting position. He would come back in at the end of that lap, put some fresh rubber on and go again. But yeah, so we'll see what happens.
Birdie's looking quick, you know. I'm just watching him throughout the first sector. He's looking. Whoa, that's a wobble. Never mind. I mean, he's only lost a bit of time. He's resetting himself because he knows I shouldn't commit to this, especially if. Oh!
Well, he's trying to take himself out now, isn't he?
Now, I think he got distracted. I don't think.
That almost looked like he's trying to deliberately crash out.
I don't think he is.
Yeah,
I
he's
think now
sorry.
he is.
Oh, he's managed to try and get under that barrier, isn't he? What's he trying to do?
Yeah,
okay,
there he
right,
is.
moving on. Hypers is on another
Hypers,
flyer. Zerd
Yeah,
says
he's
that'll
not
do.
far away.
Hypers looks. He's still in mode 0, so he's not really going for it, is he?
Not quite, no. I think
No,
he
he's
must have had an
definitely
issue on turn 1 where he invalidated potentially. It's quite easy to invalidate turn 1. You know, if you just want to get your power down a little bit too early and then you lose the rear and you kind of cut the corners a bit too much, it can be all sorts of different things that cause the issue. But currently here he is going through the Neville chicane, prepping himself for the final push, which we're not far away from seeing.
Well, we are pretty much on that final push. Hypers is about to start. Copy's on one, and Blue is on one. Copy's coming towards the Nouvelle chicane now, so we'll be seeing what he can do shortly. He will get another lap though if he fancies it, and that could be important. If he doesn't quite nail this one, he's got another shot at similar to Blue. As Blue comes through Nouvelle himself, and Copy's backed out, so he will be going once again after this. 50 seconds left. Where is Wessel? Wessel's on his way. Lemon is definitely going to be there. End the turn. I mean, they should all be there. Shouldn't be any problems.
I'm keeping a firm eye locked on Hypers at the minute, just the way that he's been tackling it. When we did the onboard with him earlier, there was a lot of issues. You could see that he was just pinballing off of every wall. And this one, he looks a lot more smooth, no issues, no contact with the wall so far. Obviously, we're coming up to the Nouvelle chicane, and arguably probably the most difficult area of the track after this. The whole next sector is just really. Oh, that was close.
So was that. He
That
definitely knows the limits of
very
this track,
quick.
doesn't he?
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt in my mind.
I mean, look how he takes these corners. You're thinking, you watch the actual F1 drivers around this track, especially at the swimming pool complex. Sometimes they just kiss the wall with their tyres, and that is what he's doing here. He knows the limits of this track, and he's pushing it to the limits, and that shows he's gone 2/10 faster. And if anyone can displace them, I will bow at their feet.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Etnington has the ability to beat Hypers here today.
Well, you say that, but he's only 2/10 off. That's literally all it is. I mean, you saw Hypers gain that 2/10 just then in that one lap. And that's the difference in terms of track evolution, right? He's in a position now where he could easily do that as long as he doesn't make a mistake. That was just about the same sort of pace that Hypers did, except he didn't lock up. That's the one thing that matters. And I think that would have made. I think that one little bit of lock up there would have been enough to slow him down too much to be able to catch Hypers.
I've just seen he's up by nearly 2/10.
This is going to be tense.
This is going to be close. I don't want to bow at Etnington's feet. I think Hypers should have this, but...
Oh,
what?
He's done it. At Nickton
What?
with the surprise 108.214. Oh, that's spicy. This is going to be a really interesting race now. Hypers is the kind of guy who will absolutely look for a move down the inside if he can find one. This is Monaco. It is such a difficult track to overtake on. You know, it doesn't mean he's not going to try, but in the main areas you're going to see that sort of like in the final few corners and in the diving towards the Nouvelle chicane, but it's just so hard to execute that. However, here is the rundown at the end of the qualifying session. So very, very, very closely, and Nickton took the pole position away from Hypers. Hypers is there by just under 1/100th of a second. Sorry, 1/10 of a second is what I meant to say. Zerd in third, with Lemon in fourth, Wessel in fifth, Blue in 6th with Copy in 7th, Beaker in 8th, Daniel in 9th, and then the no-timers were Return, Rick, Bird, and Smeege. Smeege was the only one to get DQ'd, although Rick also I didn't have, it was disqualified from qualifying. That's, yeah, you better get bowing then, haven't you?
Yeah, I did not see that coming. Hypers throughout, from when we got on board with him, he just looks so quick. And, I mean, I was then watching Editurn. Editurn was just looking a bit slow, wasn't carrying speed through the corner, spent chilly to back. He just didn't look like he had the same speed. How he overturned that? He was down at the end of first sector. He was down by about 1,000. He brought it up by 2/10 in sector 2. And then just absolutely nailed the rest of it. Sector 2 ends halfway through the swimming pool complex, by the way. And so that last sector is really short. It's 5 corners. But how he managed that? How?
He's got raw skills, hasn't he? That's purely all it is. You know.
Yeah, but we'd look at Hypers and think he's got the pure skills. But where's Editurn been hiding that? He must have been practicing like a madman the last few days.
The thing that scares me a little bit is the fact that he managed to do that lap even with a lockup. Imagine if he hadn't locked up there, he would have actually gained. I mean, I think we're only talking about a 10th, but still, that 10th makes a difference. You know, he was 2/10 ahead of, behind Hypers when he did his lap, and then Nickton just suddenly pulls out a nice 3/10 gap, and that's it, done. He's already up in the pole. But you know, race pace and quality pace are two completely different things. So whilst he did have that going strong for him in qualifying, it's now a question of if he has got the ability to control a very heavy car. I mean, I say heavy, he's underfueled again. Traditional and Nickton things.
Yeah, I'll just have a little flick through the drivers. There's a fair few that have actually underfueled. So that's going to be interesting when they get to the race. Beaker had qualified, but he's not got back in. So he's currently in AI. I don't think he'll be really doing much. Return as well. Return to me is showing that he's in the garage. But maybe it's just rubbish camera angle. He's actually on track. I just can't see him.
No, I think you're right. I think he is stuck in the garage.
So maybe he's not coming out either.
Not be racing, yeah.
So we haven't even started. We're already down to 11.
Potentially, yeah. But it'd be interesting to see if Beaker gets back in or not, and whether return is just a graphical issue for us. But they are bringing themselves back into their grid boxes. We are about to get underway with this Grand Prix, and I think we're about to see a very spicy turn 1. You know, it's the area of the track, especially on lap 1, where you expect to see collisions if you're going to see them. But here we go, the lights are on now, and it's about time we get underway with this Grand Prix. So please, take us away in Nick turn as we come towards turn 1 now. Oh, a big delay there. That's Daniel not moving off the start line. Immediately there's contact. That's Rick who get caught up in that. Immediately, Nick turn's got away cleanly. No issues there. Blue and everybody else is chasing behind. Smeege, I think, has got damage. He's just clipped the wall as well there. I think he's missing a left end plate potentially. Yes, he is.
I think a few people are.
Already drama for him.
Yeah, Rick's definitely missing front end plate. Smeege most likely is as well. Just they weren't expecting to be sat there. Now he's been disqualified. Smeege has just picked up more damage on the rear of Bird as we're coming through the hairpin. Oh, it's a big jump over the back of a car there for Rick. Daniel has now been officially disqualified. And Smeege is actually batting around the outside of Bird. He's going to find a wall there if he's not careful, but he's kept going. He hasn't got much wing. And this is going to be interesting. He's currently ahead. And who's going to go through? Is he going to let him through? No, they both lock up going to the chicane. Bird has the corner cut and ends up with a 3-second penalty and has to give the position back to Smeege. All the action seems to be at the back at the moment.
It really does. I mean, at the front of the grid, nothing's really changing at all. Everything's
Smeege nearly lost it again. Same place as he did before. And Bird runs out of track. Smeege hasn't pitted with that front wing problem. Sorry, Smeege basically tried to jump over the turn 16, the last part of the swimming pool, and nearly spun his car again.
I mean, he's still alive, and that's ultimately what it comes down to when it comes to the Monaco Grand Prix. You need to try and keep your car going as long as possible. Hypers is bringing himself really closely to the back of it. Nick's going to have to try and figure a way to defend, which is this track is going to benefit him. He's got the very wide car anyway for a track so narrow. It's so difficult to attack just full stop. Never mind with DRS or anything. The home straight is more of a position to just bring yourself closer. It's not really an overtaking opportunity. Turn 1 is just so tight. It's really difficult to do an overtake there. But currently, Nickton's still leading. Hyper's in P2. They're in 3rd, Lemon in 4th. And it's only then after that when you start to see... Oh, big crash and Nickton's gone! He made a big mistake and his entire front wing is gone. That's now Nickton going to have to come straight back to the pits. I can only assume he's going to go hard, but that was a huge crash for Nickton.
Unfortunately, I missed it. I'm currently watching Bird and Smeege battle. Bird is so desperate to get past that Smeege is just driving all over the place with no front wing. It's really hard for anyone to get past. But so where did Nickton lose it? Was that the swimming pool? First part.
So you come out of the Nivelle chicane, and then you have that left-hander,
Yeah,
and then you have the quick chicane there.
That's
he
swimming pool.
lost it on the he lost it there.
Lost it on the first part, righto. Well, he's
And
coming
he
out.
ended up pinballing off the right wall. I don't know how he's still driving. I'm going to be honest. That was a big crash.
Well, he's come out in 9th place on the hard tyre, so he's going to go deep.
Bird's going in. This is a tense one. That I mean, he had to use his car at that point.
There's no room.
He obviously went for a move, but you can't sort of make your car turn anymore if he doesn't want to. And so unfortunately, he did end up having to use speed as a brake. You know, I think it will probably end up going to the stewards to be at least discussed whether or not there's going to be any penalties. There's contact there again. Smeege almost in the wall as a result of it. Bird's just getting so desperate.
Yeah, Bird's missing front right, definitely front right, and all the elements now. After that hit, I'm just trying to see what Smeege is missing. Is he missing both end plates but no elements?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, he
just keeps
around that corner there.
That's the same as every time. Now, Bird is finally pit. What's he going to go for? Is he going to go for a quick stint on softs, then back on to mediums? Because he started on the hards, so he can't go hards again. Go mediums.
Yeah.
So he's trying the undercut effectively now.
Yeah, but the question is, can you really take mediums 35 laps? I think the answer is
No,
easy.
he's not. He's going to have to come in again. That's for sure. But he can come in on mediums again, can't he?
He could. He could.
Smeege is not going to have a lot of pace. He's going to be caught by any turn soon. It's just a matter of time. And Smeege will end up putting it probably a bit further into the wall sooner rather than later and take even more of that wing off. Then he'll have to come in. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, we're only on lap 9:39. Lap 4:39. So long way to go.
Yeah. So Hypers has obviously gained the lead now since that Nickton had a big crash quite early on in the race, to be honest. I thought it would have been a bit further on when his tyres were damaged and worn down a fair bit. But no, he made a big mistake. Ended up going flying into the wall. Somehow is still driving. Honestly, I have no idea how. He's gone into the hards. I think he's going to be looking to take them all the way to the end. The thing he's got to think about, though, is how hard can he really push? It's a tough situation to be in at Nickton shoes, because he's kind of reminding me of the Hungary situation with Verstappen, where he was in a really good place. He had to take the tyres really far, and then he had to manage his pace and make sure he still chucked in good times, but also looked after the tyres. And Nickton's in the exact same situation here. If he wants to try and get on the podium again, he's not only is he going to have to pull off a miracle, but he's going to have to do exactly those things as well.
I don't think he's going to. He's got so much time to gain. Everyone else is going to stop again. Yes, that's a given. Will he have to stop again? Probably not, unless he has more issues. But then they're going to stop and come out on mediums. His only hope is to catch up as Beaker. I was on board with Beaker. I saw the corner cut. I knew it was coming. The only hope Benton's got is he can catch up before these guys drop off. As these guys drop off and before they can pit on their softs. As Lemon has pitted quite early and gone to hards. Interesting call. Maybe he's picked up a bit of damage. I didn't see any wing changes, but so yeah, Nickton needs to catch up with these guys if he wants a realistic chance of being on the podium.
Well, the problem he's going to have to worry about now is that Wessel's right here behind him, Rick's right here behind him, and they are both looking for an opportunity. Obviously, he might actually just get ahead here of Lemon if he can. This might be a podium position for him. Ultimately, it's going to come down to this, and no, he can't. Lemon is ahead of him, so now Nickton is in attacking position. He's going to have to try and line Lemon up for some way on this track.
Oh, but they're now behind Smeej. Smeej, obviously, with all that damage on that front, it's going to be so hard to pass him. And let's see where Lemon tries to. There are... I'm going to count the amount of overtaking opportunities you got on this track. It's probably well in the single figures.
Oh yeah,
and
100%.
probably less than 5 corners you can probably overtake on. You can't really do it in turn 1.
If we're talking 0 mistakes from the
driver... Oh, there's more wing on from Smeej.
Oh, Hypers.
They're going soft to hards as Lemon is all over the back, and we've got a nice little queue. Look at this, 5 cars now behind Smeej. And he's just bounced off the wall. Lemon's taken immediate advantage of that. Not where I expected to see an overtake. I mean, we can see some really frustrated drivers now because they want to get past. But Smeej is going to be making little mistakes here, there, and everywhere. And hopefully that doesn't cost the drivers anything.
Alright, and Nick turns in. So, clearly not happy. Not sure if this is going to be retirement or not, but I didn't see any wing damage on his car.
It's new wing.
But yeah, it does. Okay.
I can't see any damage. It must be relatively minor.
I mean, he's decided to go to mediums. Mediums are still a no-go, I think. Even from this point, it's still a no-go. It's going to be really tough. I'm pretty sure that's the end of it. Nick does race, but here's Rick looking for a move on Wessel. Wessel is trying to also attack Smeej. There's no real opportunity for Rick to do anything about this. A little bit of stutter there, but we're back. Smeej is really holding everyone up.
Well, he's creating battles, isn't he? He's doing a good job of that. And this is Monaco. If you want to get past, you have to be determined to get past. You have to show a slight bit of aggressiveness. Smeej just can't carry the speed through the tunnel. Wessel's going to try and outbrake him, but Smeej is actually holding his line. Smeej is doing a good job when you think about it, until he gets to the back where he just can't turn the car. And he's just lost again to Wessel. And Rick's managed to get through as well. So great move there from Rick to get past and take advantage of that. Because that was so crucial. That was to stay on the back or Wessel. And Rick has thrown it in. He's just clouted the wall. I don't think I've ever seen that before. That's quite an interesting move.
I've had some interesting entries to this pit lane. I've once drifted into the pit lane. But obviously because I just got on the accelerator a little bit too hard and that was it. I just rotated all the way into the pit lane. The game obviously fixed it for me, but still, you know, I've never seen anyone clip the inside wall like that. That was a very interesting situation nonetheless. So here's Rick now bringing himself towards turn 1. Beaker, is that 6 seconds he's got now?
Already, yeah, and that was just a mistake down at the Nouvelle chicane. Just went a little too deep into it, had to cut the corner, and Smeej just finally retired from the session in sector 2. Now, safety car, yes or no? Will there be one?
Depends. Was it a crash safety? Was it a crash or was it a retirement?
I don't know. I tried to look at it and press the wrong button and opened up his profile. So.
Oh, hold on for 1 second, because here comes Hypers down the inside of turn 1 on Beaker. There's contact with the wall. That is Beaker getting put into it. Hypers is ahead. I don't think Hypers actually got any damage as a result of that. I don't even know if Beaker did.
I don't think he did. Doesn't look like he did anyway. But Hypers. Well, I mean, we've seen Beaker involved in several issues into that corner. And I think that was definitely the cleanest one of the lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's probably the first time we've seen Beaker on the receiving end of it. I don't remember.
No, because it was him and Hazard the other time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Where he went trying to go around the outside of Hazard and just got pincered up against the wall. Now Hypers is up to the rear of Copy almost immediately. This is some next level basis thrown up. These softs have absolutely bit dust. Hypers on the right tire at the right time and is flying.
But surely he can't go to the end on this tyre already. I mean, what's he done? 2 laps already? He's chucking in ridiculous lap times. And he's got another 30 laps to go. This is going to be a real tough ride for him. But if anyone can pull it off, it's Hypers. We can rely on him to do that. He's just gained a couple of places. Here he is again going in towards turn 1. Is it going to be a similar situation? No. Copy gives him space. And Hypers just slips on through into his DMs and says, thank you, mate. I'm now going to line up blue.
The one thing to look at is Hypers is on 3-lap-old hards. Beaker and Zerd have just come out on mediums. They're all going to be wanting to go to the end, so that instantly says Hypers should be looking to go to the end on his hard tyres. Blue and Copy will probably be coming in this lap. And yellow in sector 3, who's that? Beaker, another penalty Beaker. He's not having a good day.
No, he's really not. He needs to try and figure out how to do
That
a
was turn
line
1.
here that doesn't get you a penalty. Yeah, disaster.
And it's only gone fast though. Something's going right for him today.
Oh, well, he's in clean air, isn't he? He's just literally doing time trial at the minute. 11.1 seconds is the gap between him and Birmingham. It is dropping like a stone. Look at that. It's already down to 10.5, 10.2. I don't know if Bird's just driving really slowly or if Nixon's just that fast, but he is coming in hot.
Has Nixon got some wing damage? Is that what slow paces? No.
Green Bird.
Bird, sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, how can Nixon be driving much faster with no wing damage? We actually just missed. Blue, again, Hypers again overtakes into turn 1. It's now got race lead, and Blue is just going to have to try and stick to the back end for a while.
Well, I don't think that little while's going to be very long. I think that little while's going to end any moment. That's how long it is, and he's really lost the 1 second. These softs have fallen off the cliff, and they need to be getting these in, because, I mean, Zerd's coming. They need to get out around the same position as Wessel. Wessel will obviously stop, but then the next person is Beaker, who's effectively out the same place as Wessel. And that's where they need to be coming out, ahead of Beaker. And I don't think they're going to do it with these soft tyres. Blue and Copy are just running them to the very end of their life.
Well, let's have a look at the gap to leader. So gap to leader for Beaker is 26.1. I think this is the shortest pit lane of all of them. I think it's about 19 seconds for the pit lane here.
Depends
Currently,
if you've got a front wing.
Yeah, well, that is true. If you've got a front wing.
Blue's in.
So they should do it. They should do it.
Blue and Copy are both in. Right, let's see where he comes out. They need to come out ahead of Beaker. Beaker's been held up a little bit by Wessel and all his penalties. As Zerd has gone faster. So, where are they? They must be trundling their way out now. They are. Here comes Blue, he's coming out. And they are definitely ahead. Wessel's just gone through the final corner.
Yeah, Beaker just couldn't do anything about it. He's even having issues on the exit of that corner. I don't know if he's just trying to get the power down a little bit too early and trying to close up onto Wessel. Okay, he looks so uncomfortable on this track.
Well, I didn't see Bird DNF'd.
I think he retired in the pit lane.
Yeah, fresh tyres. It screams retired pit lane, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, we're down to, well, effectively 9 drivers. Return is apparently on the track. He's done 7 laps according to this. But
no, he's been lapped 7 times.
Oh yeah, sorry, lapped 7 times. But no, he's obviously in the pits. He's not doing anything. How has he been lapped 7 times when we've done 12 laps?
Codebusters.
So
we shouldn't badmouth him, should we?
No. I mean, I like this game personally. I think it does have its flaws. Don't get me wrong. But, Wessel, that was a big tail slap out there, and he's in the same sort of state as Beaker's in. They just seem to be getting really happy rear end. And honestly, I think it's all come down to the car setup they've got nowadays. A lot of the drivers seem to be going like much higher rear anti-roll bar than the front, because they're trying to sort of
ding, ding. He
ballast.
said it.
Yeah, I get some points. But yeah, they're just not quite setting the car up perfectly for a race like this.
Yeah, well, Beaker's had a lot of problems just hitting the corners at the moment, and so he needs to just. I don't know what's going through Beaker's head at the moment. He's going to be in angry mode, isn't he? And we've always said Beaker drives best when he's outside his comfort zone. Yeah. Is he now outside his comfort zone with all these penalties? He knows he's got to push it at this moment. He's got. Is he on 9, isn't he? Or is he up to 12 now?
I'm pretty sure it's 9 at least.
Okay, because he's getting close. He's getting close to losing to enter turn.
He's going for this. I can sense it.
No, he's not.
He had a look there. If Wessel had been a bit slower there, he'd absolutely have sent that down the inside. Oh, he almost hit the wall.
He really just kept
it together. The Zerd is flying though. Look at that, 1:11.7. Granted, he's on medium, so he's going to be faster than the hard runners anyway. And the gap is sitting at about 5.1. I don't know if Zerd's going to be able to play the long game and actually take this all the way to the end, but realistically he's in a position where he's going to have to just keep going. Make that gap to Lemon a bit more than it is. Pit for softs, come out ahead of him, and that's it. Just drive for P2.
Is that what you're thinking he's going to do? I'm thinking he's going to the end on those.
I would be incredibly surprised if he does.
What about Blue and Copy? Do you think they're going to one-stop it? They pitted 2 laps later.
I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, Zerd for me is very much on the limit. Blue and Copy have obviously got more of a chance of doing it, but I really don't know. The problem with this track is if you get a puncture, you're dead. You just can't afford to get a puncture.
Well, you're quite literally going to be DNF'd, aren't you? You just lose the rear and you'll just snap and straight into a wall. Beaker is still pushing Wessel. And currently only battle on track. Although Wessel was close to Copy, he's now dropping back. And he's on 12 lap old medium, so Beaker wants him to get into those pits quite quickly so he can get past. But he's just not doing it.
No, he is not. So...
Go on, sorry.
Alright, well, I was just basically going to talk about sort of the situation that Zerd's in. He's actually now losing time to Hypers. He's not closing in on him pretty much at all. He's lost 3/10 since the last time we talked about it. Yes, I know it's just 3/10, but it's a sign. In a race where it's all about the thousandth of a second, 3/10 is like a year. And we're in a situation now where Hypers on the hards seems to be in a more comfortable position than Zerd, who's on the mediums, and younger tyres.
I was just taking that extra grip out of it, and now it's just coming down to pure pace. He's dropping back again and again. And I think he might be looking towards Wessel at this point, seeing how long he can last on those mediums. Obviously, Zerd will have done his practices. He'll know how long he thinks he can go.
Oh.
And Rick's Dino from last place. That's in sector 2. That is here. Oh! That's a rear tyre.
Yeah.
Beaker, that 3-second piece for Beaker will probably be overturned. He had no choice. There was a car stuck in the middle of the track. He had to go round it. Obviously, ghosting looked beyond, but you never know. You have to just take your bet and try and go around it. So hopefully that one won't count for him. The other ones probably will. But you don't often see people lose a rear tyre on that corner. He must have hit that with some proper speed.
That's the only way I can imagine he did. I've hit that wall a fair few times, as you can imagine, and I've never lost a wheel there from hitting it that hard.
He apparently lagged and bugged.
I would explain it.
Well, that would, yes. And found a wall.
So we're not far now from the halfway mark. We're only 4 laps away. 3.5 technically.
Sorry, you're talking about the race distance, not the amount of drivers left. Gotcha, sorry.
Well, both really. We're not far away from, we've lost 4 in total as in physical DNFs. We lost a driver before we even started in return. And obviously currently we have 8 drivers remaining. As it stands, Beaker is the closest driver to the driver in front, which is Wessel, and Wessel's been running on these tyres for a good long time, and Beaker's just not able to capitalise. And I think everyone has pit already, haven't they? Yeah. And Nickton's even pit twice.
Yeah, well, Wessel, he's got to be pissing again. He can't go to the end on these mediums. What did he start? I'm just going to quickly go to race director and just see quickly. What did Wessel start on? He starts on soft, so he can go softs, mediums. At which point he'll be probably looking to come in 2 or 3 laps. And then he can... Oh, look at that ERS on Wessel. They're running so low. Both we from Wessel... Oh, that's big! He somehow survived that, though. That was a ping and pong.
Look at the wing damage. He's missing so much of his left side. He's got no end plates. Obviously, he's got damage on the right side as well. He's now just in limp home mode. I think that was the point of where his tyres just started to give out a little bit. I think he made a mistake as well. But a lot of the time, you can expect your tyres to sort of help you a little bit, and that was it. Yeah, he just had so many problems.
Yeah, well, I bet Beaker's quite happy to see that happen. It just means he doesn't have to try and fight past him. He can now try and get up to the back of Copy, but ERS-wise, Copy's sitting at 75%, Beaker's at 20%. I know this isn't a track where you're going to throw down mode 4s and 3s all the time, but when Beaker catches up, if Beaker catches up, he's not going to have a lot left to try and throw down on these straights if he wants to make any overtakes. Copy will just be able to defend. And we've talked a lot about Copy in about the last year, about his ERS, but he's doing a good job at the moment. Wessel's given up.
Yeah, Wessel has retired, so it's not a fun day for him, neither for Rick Bird, Smeege, and Daniel. It's been a rough race for them, and ultimately it's the same sort of situation for Beaker and Nickton. You know, Beaker has a lot of penalties, but he's still going okay. And Nickton has had to pit twice because of major damage. We almost lost another driver. Well, he was almost the first driver to go, wasn't he? Besides Daniel, who got disqualified.
Zerd's left the session. Yeah, I just saw that gap suddenly increase between Zerd and no Hypers. And I think he might have just noticed the wall and gone Alt F4.
I don't think that was the case. I think
yes,
what
it
happened
is.
was...
Look at how much wing he's got on that front right. There's
I
nothing.
agree with that. But I think the reason why he ended up losing wing is because somebody left the session and he's the host.
Ah, okay.
So I wouldn't be surprised if he rejoins after everything has been said and done.
Okay, well he's dropping right back, which is giving Hypers a free pit stop, which she'll be very happy to see. Which means he can go for the fastest lap for that extra point. But yeah, so Zerd is now P7 and last, but he's still in a position to gain points.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah.
So yeah, that, I mean, some leagues have got that rule in there because of the issue that they have with this on this game currently, which is if you're the host and people leave, it can cause an FPS issue where every sort of half a second you have mega frame drops and you teleport essentially that rubber band around the track. And in his case, I think that's what happened. He got wing damage, couldn't fly through it anymore. Decided he needs to just leave, rejoin, and retake control of his car, which I imagine he'll be doing.
He has now.
Yeah, right now.
Yeah, so he's got a lot of work to do, but he's getting points. Everyone that finishes at this point is going to get points. And that's kind of the important part.
At this point.
I mean, we're starting to look towards the 1996 Monaco Grand Prix where we had, I think it was only about 4 official finishes, but I think 6 or 8 were classified. Something daft like that, and I just got a bit of lag there, so hopefully Anderton hasn't got more lag. I'm actually going to find out now, but yeah, so it started to pitch off into nothing, but that's typical with Monaco, isn't it? There's either a lot of action for all 39 laps, or you get a lot of DNFs and it just runs out of action.
Yeah, a lot of the time it's people trying to treat the track like any other track, going for an overtaking areas. You know, they're not necessarily saying you can't do an overtake, but
no.
On this track, it requires you to have 100% precision. You can't afford to have any slight mistake. If you do, you end up in this scenario where you've got DNFs left, right, and centre. People are just having a slight little issue, and that's the end of their race. But yeah, Hypers is still leading though, and look at the gap. He has a free pit stop between him and his teammate in P2.
Yeah, even if he does come out behind his teammate, he'll be let through. One's chasing the Drivers' Championship, the other one isn't. I mean, Hypers make safe or fair and let them take the win, but considering his championship rival, Flying Finn, isn't actually here today, so he's already going to be gaining insurmountable advantage that he already has.
Well, yeah, this is it. You say championship rival, and yeah, he is, I guess, officially. Although the gap is so severe that Hypers could miss the next 3 races, and Flying Finn would have to win all 3 races to be almost identical in points. That's just how far ahead Hypers is. And if it finishes like this and gets the fastest lap to go with it, it's just extended that even more, and he can literally just go on holiday for a whole month and then come back and still be a championship leader. It's insane.
Yeah, so I just had a quick look up because why not? In the 1996 Monaco Grand Prix, there were 3 drivers that actually finished the race. 1 got just 1 lap short, retired in the pits, and a couple of others got into the 70s and late 60s. So, yeah, I mean, we're looking that way, aren't we?
Yeah.
And hopefully we get a few more finishes.
I think we will probably have all drivers now finish. I think the 7 drivers that are here, I think, will finish. He is not going to have a great time. He actually might just retire.
Yeah,
I mean, he's still going to get points, realistically. But as it stands, he's going to lose both positions to the drivers behind him. So at best, Beaker is looking at P7 unless he can pull off like a miracle drive and just disappear into the distance from a nick turn. But then he has to worry about passing Copy, and even if he gets past Copy, he's only got a 2.4 second gap between him and Blue, and then he's got to do the same thing again there. And even then, you're still going to lose those positions back to them because of the penalties you've accrued, and that's if he doesn't get any more from the moment forward. We still have 16 more laps to go, which can only tell me that Beaker's just going to get more. And just have to set up a P7.
At Beaker's rate, he's going to lose out to return.
I mean, that's a bit extreme, but yeah, I could see where you're going with that.
Well, if he gets too many, he'll be disqualified, so...
That's true.
There's a very small possibility of that happening, but it can happen. I don't know... I've never tried to work out the amount of penalties required to get disqualified.
I think the penalties... I think the disqualification is based on the severity of the penalty. So, as in, not necessarily the 3-second time penalty or 10-second time penalty, but more the reason why you got penalised in the first place. If you get corner cutting, it's kind of a lot more lenient in terms of the disqualification, but you saw earlier, Smeej had 3 bouts of collisions, and that was it. He was immediately disqualified straight after. So,
could that have been down to the amount of places that you lost? The total sum of everything, that was 15 places. Could that have been the reason why? Here, Beaker, he's got 15 seconds of penalties. I mean, I know you can get 2 10-second penalties and get away there. I've seen 21 seconds of penalties before. I don't know if I've seen 24 seconds. That's 8 penalties then.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
I don't know.
Alright.
Well, so, Beaker will find out for us, won't he?
Yeah. Looking like it, yeah. So as it stands, we have Hypers and Lemon, the two Mercedes, leading 1 and 2, both on the same type of strategy. One's just very far ahead, and Lemon just getting himself a 3-second time penalty. I actually don't think Blue has a penalty.
I don't know either. My controller's just sort of gone to sleep. There we go, it's working again. Because
I know Lemon has multiple. I'm sure Lemon's got at least 2, so that's 6 seconds of penalties there. In that case, he will lose to both Blue and Copy, which would be really good for both of them too. They could easily, that's a podium position right there. They'd be loving life if they could do that. But I know Lemon does have the potential to just take off, but today he looks like he's struggling way too much.
Yeah, the Blue's starting to close out that gap. But this is Monaco. It's one thing to close up, it's another thing to overtake. As we've seen the last couple of years in the actual race. Lewis last year with those dying tyres. The year before we had Danny Rick with half an engine. And he was still able to keep ahead of the other drivers. So it's not a dead cert. You can be caught, but you might not lose it because there's just nowhere to pass. If you can get the power down at the right places, you can just run mode 0 for the rest of the lap. Put mode 4 where there's a chance of someone overtaking. So down into turn 1, yes, okay, it's not a great place to overtake, but it is a chance to overtake. And on the exit, again, up Beau Rivage, not an easy place, but there's places. And then down where we are now, turn 5, first the Mirabos. Then after that, the Nouvelle Chicane's your next place. And then that's pretty much it for the rest of the lap. We do see some people trying to make overtakes. He's lost their front end plate on that. We do see people try and make overtakes at Rascasse, but it's not an easy place to take a dive, and generally ends in tears for someone. And I think this might be Blue bringing this one towards the pits after that, because he might now lose out to Copy anyway. He might fancy putting some softs on and going quick.
I think it's going to be here. If he's going to have issues at some point, it's going to be here. That right end plate obviously affects left-hand turning. And in this area of the track, there's a lot of left-hand turns, and that ultimately will play a huge factor. And also, when he gets to the top of the hill, that long left-hander is so easy to get damage there as well. Let's keep an eye as Blue goes up the hill. I want to see how he does. But yeah, you're right. Copy is closing in on him. It is 1.4 seconds being the gap. The gap to him and Lemon has expanded and just seems to be getting worse for Blue.
Yes, this corner here, turn 3, Massenet. It's a long left-hand. He looks alright at the moment, actually.
Yeah, but look at the time for Copy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just gone back up again, but Copy had brought it down 0.2 as a result of that. So yeah, it's looking good for Copy, but then the issue he's going to have now is right. Okay, I'm on your rear. What can I actually do about it, though?
Yeah, this comes back to what I was just saying. If you know how to drive this track, you know when to put that mode 4 on to just pull away, or to stay ahead, should we say, not pull away. But again, coming back to the one issue that Copy's had so often, is ERS management. He's not having issues here today. Maybe it's because there's so many braking points, there's so many corners, it's less of affected on him. But
Yeah.
ooh, bit of wobble there. Blue with the penalty to go as well.
So that's almost secured Lemon. I mean, it's secured Lemon a podium, providing he doesn't get many more. But it's actually bringing Copy into a really good position now. At 14 laps in on these mediums does mean he's in a great scenario overall. The thing to think about for Copy, though, and this has been my main critique, he's either over aggressive on the ERS or he's under aggressive on the ERS. He's never got the balance just right, where he's just hovering around in the sort of mids, or like now look, he's sat in 0, could have gone up to 1 there just to get that extra bit of push up towards the corner, and then gone to 0 again through this area of the track. This area is obviously a very much a 0 area, because there's no benefit to ERS here at all. He's just so slow. But after the exit of this corner, you want to be going
4.
up to mode 3 now, which is done, and then go to 4 when you get to gear 6, which he's not done. It's stayed in mode 1, interestingly. But watch when he gets through this next bit. So when he comes up to the swim pool complex, I mean, last lap he stayed in mode 0 the entire time. He stayed in mode 1 here. And ultimately, you need to be coming out of the Nivelle chicane into mode 3. And he's not done that at all.
No, he's playing conservative, but at the same time, he needs to switch up now. Oh no, not quite yet. He switched up after he made that mistake, so that was alright. I mean, if he switched up before he made that, he might have ended up in the wall. But
yeah, there was a fair bit of a suggestion that he was losing the car there. He caught it, obviously, you know, and managed to get the weight distributed again just right, but ultimately that almost put him into the wall on the outside, and he's actually lost a lot of time there to believe you could see how much he was scared, and a big lock there as well. This is not going well for Copy now.
Is it the case that he just pushed these tyres a little too hard? His teammates further behind on 21 lap old mediums, but he's not battling, he's not having to push those tyres, and that's what's working well for Etniton at the moment. Is he can just take his time. Beaker, yes, okay, Beaker's 18 laps in on his, but he's got loads of penalties with his name, so he's not really pushing, he's just driving. Whilst Copy is now starting to push. They've been pushing, both of these two have been pushing the last couple of laps to close up to Lemon, and maybe they're just taking a little bit of life out of their tyres. Copy gives the wall a little kiss just to say, hi, you're still there.
Yeah.
And
a little rain check there. I mean, the other thing to watch with Copy, I'm just paying attention to how delicately he's taking the track. He's not pushing at all. I almost get the impression that he's scared of the track right now. Because, I mean, that's one thing that Monaco does do, is he does instill fear in all of the drivers. But the ones that succeed here are the ones that can fight through that and really get on with it. Copy is not doing bad at all. I don't want to take any. I don't want to. I know it sounds like I'm just bashing on him really hard.
You do that every week.
No, I actually have a lot of respect for Copy. He's a really good driver, and every time I've raced with him in open lobbies and whatnot, he is someone who you can always have a really good, solid battle with. He's very clean, very spatially aware. I think ultimately it's just these minor mechanics that make a difference to him. There you go. That now he's in mode 4. He knows I need to start closing up a little bit. Now let's see if he's paid attention to what I said earlier, which is out of here he needs to go to mode 3, and he hasn't.
No, maybe he just wants to get through this corner, then going to go up. Not even that.
Nope. The thing is, there's no benefit to going down again in that corner, because you're still carrying quite a fair bit of pace. Yes, it's not lightning fast, but you can still turn it up a little bit and really go for it. And he's just not doing that.
He's up to mode 3 now, but Blue's also there, and Blue's actually doing alright on his ERS. They're starting to come together. He's on 50%, so only 30% behind or more than Copy. Use more than Copy. So Copy's now in DRS zone, so he can now really hunt down the back of Blue, try and make him burn off a bit more ERS, then he can start taking advantage of it. He hasn't got long left though if he wants to make that overtake. And when you consider Blue's got wing damage, Copy doesn't. They've got the same age tyres, there's no real difference there other than how they've driven to this point. Copy just needs to find that overtake. Now he's moving up. He's only 2. Slow into 3. Not even going to touch 4.
No. And again, but watch. This is the bit. 3 here. He'll get that extra pace out of it. Yeah, I mean, he's going to use the tyres a little bit more, but he'll get the extra pace out of the corner. You stay in 3 all the way through the scenario. Go down to mode 0 here so that you can just ride, maybe even mode 1, which he has done. Even mode 1, look. I feel like he's just left his differential set too high and he's really nervous to get on the accelerator.
Yeah, now he's into mode 3, but again, he could jump this to mode 4, put real pressure on the back end of Blue. And Blue may just make one small mistake. He's already made one little mistake that cost him his front wing. But Copy needs to apply that pressure to the back of Blue, make Blue make more mistakes. We saw it with Wessel earlier, with Beaker all over his rear. Wessel bounced off the walls here, and that was it. That was the pressure applied, and it worked like a dream. Copy's not really applying pressure when he's 6/10 back. He needs to be less than half a second, like 2 or 3 tenths off the back of him. And that really applied the pressure, and then maybe Blue will make mistakes, and Hypers is going to go for the fastest lap.
Yeah, he's going for it. He's got the free pit stop. He's going to come out and still have a huge gap to the driver behind. I mean, currently the fastest lap was given to Zer, and he's had that for quite a while. I think he actually had that from when he first put on the hards. So yeah, Hypers now. The one worry I have for Hypers is if he has any sort of stability issues, because he did that in qualifying, if you remember, on his first lap that he did. Whether he was just shaking the cobwebs off or not, I don't know, but he made a lot of mistakes, pinball off the walls, and that's ultimately where I'm concerned, is that he's going to do the same thing again. So when he does cross the line, I just want to go on board with him just to see how well he does. Ultimately, this little battle is going on with Copy and Blue.
He's really close now.
Just over 2 tenths. He's actually dropped by that. So if Blue runs wide here, Copy's looking for it. He's trying to protect himself, but there's nothing here. Blue's managed to defend that inside. And again, Copy is just going to have to weigh it out and try and maybe get him in the Nivelle chicane.
Yeah, he's now applying that pressure. We've been talking about it for the last few laps. He's now upped his game. Blue needs to work out what game he's playing. His teammates behind Copy. That's the only thing that he can do, is maybe back him up into Beaker a bit, make Beaker apply pressure to Copy, put Copy off, and he can pull away a little bit.
Yeah.
But will that work? Probably not. As Copy's, again, nowhere near. He's just not really fighting down that straight.
Oh, here. It's really triggering me that he's not using mode 3 there.
Have you ever thought about writing him how to ERS on certain tracks? Just
Well, I don't want to come across as patronising. Oh,
But you
that's
do.
a wall. And he's lost an end plate. That is disaster now for Copy. You can see him locking up there. That really knocked his confidence a bit, and that's something that Copy needed. He needs confidence. But I do want to go on board with Hypers, who is now on the softs, and he's going for. He's not going for it. Clearly, he's had an issue on that lap that he's not happy with.
maybe need a more ERS for it.
Oh, or maybe he's done exactly as I said and has no end plates.
How is he? That must have been in Casino. We saw it earlier. Just ping, or actually could have been any of the corners. To be fair, you can all ping off one side onto the other on all of the corners. But I mean, he's got a 10-second lead over his teammate.
Yeah, but he
11
can't
really.
pit now there.
Well, he can. He can tell Lemon, "This is my lead. Get out of the way."
Oh, yeah, but the thing is, even if it pits, it will be marginal. But he will, if he comes out behind Blue, he's in trouble.
Yeah, but we've seen how Hypers is driven today. I
Yeah.
don't think he's going to be in any trouble whatsoever. He's taken some zany overtakes, is the only way to describe some of them. But they've all been perfectly fine. They've all been relatively contact-free. They've been wheel-to-wheel contact. But it hasn't resulted in anyone losing wing or time.
No.
So, yeah. Well, I think he won't be out of place to pit. I don't think he will, but he's 18, call it 19 ahead of Blue. But he'll then be behind Copy as well. So he's got 2 to make
Yeah.
out, so he'll just stay out.
Yeah, there's no need. I think for the sake of a point, it's not worth you running the risk of. Because I mean, he's got no. Even if he changes wing, he's going to have to change wing in order to be aggressive. That means he's going to be way down the order. He's actually going to end up falling behind at nick turn, realistically. And there's no point. All for the sake of a point. You may as well just carry on as you are. Yeah, you're going to
Unless you
be
do things
slower
like
and
this.
get a penalty, but he only has to drive smooth for the next 5 laps. He's got 11 seconds of gap to still work with. He's not going to get the fastest lap point, we know that, but he is in a position where he can absolutely go for it. Although I keep seeing him go to mode 5. I'm nervous that he's going to end up retiring.
I'm just going to have a quick look at Beaker. Beaker's doing what Hypers was doing, trying for the softs to get the fastest lap. And he's on the softs. He's not going faster just yet. I think he's on a installation lap. I know you don't often hear about an installation lap in the middle of a race, but he is. He's in mode 0. So
yeah,
he'll be going to get...
he's done the right thing though, hasn't he, really? He had so many penalties, and Nick and Zed were going to get him anyway. He may as well at least recover a point by going for the fastest lap. And if you look at the fastest lap, it's actually not that hard to beat. You can have a lot less fuel now. We've only got 4 laps to go, and he's going to have at least 2 or 3 attempts to go at it.
He is going at
here
it.
he is now. So let's oh, we can't stay on board him because Copy has somehow brought himself right here onto the back of Blue. Blue must have had a mistake somewhere. Either that or Copy has actually decided to use some ERS, and he hasn't. So I can only see him. Blue's made a mistake.
I think he might have done that gap between Blue and Lemon's 9 seconds now. I'm staying with Beaker actually. I'm going to follow this. You follow the battle. I want to see if Beaker can nail the lap.
Well, nothing's really changing currently between battle for P3. As Blue, yeah, he's sat there, he's cozy, but ultimately it's not going to mount to anything. As Blue, actually, never mind, he touches the wall a little bit. Only a rear left, so they clipped it, so nothing serious. There's Blue getting touched there by Copy. That was a knock into the back of him. No damage on Copy's car. A little bit of a tickle there for Blue, but he's still stable, still going strong, and he might actually hold this position for a few laps longer.
Yeah, Beaker's definitely going for it. He's coming up through the last part of the swimming pool complex, so he's coming towards the line. He's definitely going full ham. He's been mode 4 the entire lap. And final corner, let's see, can he get the fastest lap? Yes, he can.
There it is.
So he'll be happy.
Yeah,
Let's
and
have
now
a
all he has
look
to
back
do
at
is
it.
just drive to the finish line. That's it. 3
Yeah.
laps and then he's done. And Nickturn is actually in a position where he's closing in on this battle now for P3. I think he has more penalties than these two. So he won't be able
Yeah,
to
I believe
gain the
it.
position even if he manages to get past them. The only thing he can do is apply pressure and get them to make their own mistakes and get penalties that way. However, one of them is his teammate. And they're really good friends as well anyway. So I don't think he's going to do that. I think Nickturn is just going to have to settle for P5 or pray that Blue makes a big mistake. I think it'd have to be of a similar magnitude to what Nickturn had in the first 3 laps. There's more damage.
So damage
More
is a
mistakes.
nudge. It's just a nudge.
Actually, yeah, I think it's just a nudge.
But he's right there now. If he can get this drive, and I think Blue actually got a much better drive off the corner. Copy's really struggled getting the drive coming off the final corner, and it's really starting to hamper him now. Blue's still ahead, but Copy is still there. He's going up the hill through Beau Rivage towards Massonet. I thought he was going to try and send it, but it's a strange place to try and send it, I know. But here's his another chance. This is where you kind of just want to stick in mode 4 for half a second. But I'll just try and send it down the inside, but he didn't. He's playing it safe. And he's allowed
So,
yeah, sorry.
and Nickturn's 30 laps in on the mediums. Is he in nearing puncture territory?
Kind of, say yeah. I think I saw someone do 33, and that's kind of what he's going to have to do.
Oh,
That's him done for the day.
yeah. P5 at best. I'm pretty sure he's going to lose that position to Zerd there. Because Zerd is definitely within the penalty range of a Nickturn. I think Zerd will jump up to P5, which will be a consolation prize considering the situation he was in. He was much higher up, and no, Zerd, Nickturn is in. So
Well,
Beaker may have actually just been gifted a position.
Well, he will be gifted a position, but penalties could still play a factor in this. And we know Beaker's got a lot of copies all over the back of Blue. Round the outside of Massonet, he's trying. He's not going to find it there, though. And I thought he was fancied. Chance now he's going to look down the inside here, is he? He looks, put Blue off his line a little bit. No chance of overtaking here. Only a crazy person tries to overtake at the hairpin. Definitely no room to overtake through that corner.
Yeah, you have to be silly to even think about doing stuff like that, wouldn't you?
You have to be absolutely silly, yeah. But
All
no,
right,
actually,
keep an
he's
eye
just
out
compromised
on,
himself.
keep an eye out for copy. I think he might actually. Oh, never
He's
mind.
going. He's going
I was
full
only
ham.
going to say that Copy just really needs to sort of catch Blue off guard. If he can find an opportunity where Blue isn't really thinking, oh, he's not going to try me here, and then suddenly Copy's there, you know,
But
he might
that could end
actually
in
be able to make
tears.
it done.
That's the type of move you see at Rascast. It ends in tears
Yeah.
for one person normally, if not both. But Blue just got a little wobble coming off the final corner. But again, Copy just can't get the pace. We're on the final lap. Is he going to go for a god move? It's going to mean that he's going to hope that he's immortal and can just go straight through. Which I don't think he's going to do.
If Blue had ran wide there, Copy would have sent that without a doubt.
He's
So
in
that
mode
was- that was
3
the
all the
only
time now.
opportunity to go for it.
He's going for it. He's in mode 3. Flick it down to 0 now because you don't need it here.
But he's
And
got
it
nothing
can
to lose here.
But well,
There's
it
no
could
reason to
compromise you.
harvest.
It could compromise you if you put the power down and that kicks in. You put the power down too soon. That's going to kick you right round.
Yeah. Well, look at the man up on the top step. It is Hypers, who's driven a really solid race. Had a little issue when he was trying to get the fastest lap, but nonetheless, he crosses the line and takes a very, very solid P1. Lemon is bringing himself up to the line as well. Almost binned it there on the final corner. He comes in P2, and it's now this battle that we've been watching for a while with very eagle eyes. Blue defending against Copy. Penalties for both of them. Just not sure who's got the most.
Zerd is right there though.
Finish, yeah, he's only 1.5. He might actually benefit from both of them. I don't think he's got any penalty. Can you imagine if Zerd gets podium?
Is it going to be hazard things but for Zerd?
It is! Oh, wow, Zerd.
Excellent.
That is the comeback drive of kings. Has to leave the game due to the FPS issue. Gets wing damage, pits, goes on a hards, drives like a champ, keeps it completely clean, and takes P3. That's incredible.
Oh, we're not even going to ask the normal question, are we?
Oh, I think we know who it is. I think
Yeah.
that alone
That's-
settled it. But there it is. It's Mercedes 1-2. It's a Polish 1-2 as well. Very successsul drivers. They've actually been teammates in the past as well, once upon a time. And,
They were
so,
both
yeah, they're
part of the same
definitely
esports
really
team,
happy.
weren't they?
Yeah, that's what I mean. But yeah, good stuff from them overall. So let's have a look now at the rundown finishing that Grand Prix.
Penalty free.
Hypers taking the win. Lemon taking P2. And like you say, Zerd taking P3 after starting P3. Penalty free, returns to that top step, the P3 step, gets the final step on the podium. Blue, it takes 4th with Copy in 5th. And Nickturn gets 6th. Beaker takes 7th. And then you have your DNFs, which are Whistle, Rick, Bird, Smeege, and Daniel. We did have Return, but unfortunately he had an issue where he couldn't actually
Return.
participate.
You
That's what
couldn't
it is, isn't
return.
it? Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Well played.
Thanks.
So I'm going to ask you just for the just as normal procedure, who's the driver of the day?
Well, I think it has to go to Blue. No, Zerd.
Yeah, Zed, easy peasy. There's no doubt about it. He drove the drive of champs. He had to. But that is it for the World Championship Racing Grand Prix here. Thank you for joining us in Monaco. I'm Casa. We'll be back next week with
We're not here next week.
Canada.
There's no WCR next week.
There is no WCR next week then. All right.